Hello, and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode, I almost said 551 because that's what time it is.
Oh, jeez.
333. Anyway. It's a Monday. We're recording after work, which always makes us a little slap happy. Mm-hmm. So enjoy that. Roll with it. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
It was a subtle transition. There was a rainbow effect of
Very
crazy
nice,
going on.
Yes. Totally didn't even notice that it was that smooth. I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Like Laura said, it's Monday, the 23rd of January.
5:51 p.m.
Yes. Laura's a little loopy because she spent the day with teenagers.
I did.
As usual. And
they were hilarious today, too. One of the teachers and I were talking, and this little itty-bitty sixth grader just comes up to us, and he goes, I can't keep my shoes from getting dirty. We're like, I think that's the purpose of shoes.
To keep your feet from getting dirty.
Yeah. Anyway.
I feel his pain, though. It's been raining here for 20 days straight or something ridiculous.
It was nice on Saturday, but besides that, It's been raining since Christmas. And the weather has been overall pretty warm. We were in the 70s this weekend, but now it drops.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be nice. Like, there's actually sunshine and vitamin D will be exposed to for a little while. Like we typically are, so that'll be good. Anyway, this is a knitting show.
Usually.
Sometimes.
For the most part.
Would you like to go first, or would...
I can go first.
Excellent.
So I'm only actively working on one thing at the moment. It is, one knitting thing at the moment. It is my, there's the toe of a sock for Leading Men Fiber Arts in the Flesh and Blood colorway. This is a sock blank I got not last year, but the year before at SSK. And if you're looking at that and saying, that looked bigger last week, it totally did. I had to rip out. I've got a little ball.
Look at that ball.
Because I was maybe 5 inches into the sock after our live chat this weekend. And I was
going to say it was bigger this weekend.
I measured it against my other sock, and it was narrower because I'd only increased to 64 instead of 72.
Oh.
So I was 8 stitches short.
Yeah, that's like an inch.
So,
that's like an inch in Leslie land.
Yeah, I know.
In Laura land, that's like 4 inches.
If it had only been a couple stitches, I probably would have just kept going, but it was noticeably smaller. So I just ripped down. I hate ripping. I know a lot of people don't, but I really hate ripping out. So, especially a sock blank because it's really awkward. So I made a new little ball.
You'll get it back to where it was, probably by the end of the night.
Yeah, because it's the only thing I'm really actively working on at the moment. I would like to get my other gauntlet thing done, but I haven't even cast it on yet. So.
Gotcha. So that's it for you.
That's it. That's all I'm actively working on.
That's crazy, yo.
I know. Well, I've been doing some quilting and stuff. I'll show y'all later. What about you?
You're so multi-craftual.
I am. I'm so talented. I just don't know what to do. We actually had people on our live chat this weekend who asked, what do you do when you lose your mojo? And my answer was pick up a new craft.
That's what Leslie does all the time.
I just start something totally new, like, I think I'm going to learn how to do paper piecing, or I'm going to learn how to do...
That's pretty awesome.
Not shibori and not shiitake. Sashiko.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah, I keep messing that up.
Alright, I cast on a sock. It is in this awesomely cool... I feel like he's Judgey. This is a Judgey.
He does look a little
rabbit, like a Judgey Alice in Wonderland white rabbit. And this is a fat squirrel bag. And in it, if we're gonna be Judgey, is the Desert Vista Dye Works colorway of Little Women. I found Little Women, the book. The mom is a little Judgey. Have you read that book ever?
No. I've only ever seen the Winona.
Everyone who loves Little Women now is like, no, she's not. She's awesome. She's a little Judgey. So anyway, I was in a green mood. You'll see more green, but this is the Little Woman colorway of Desert Vista Dye Works. I'm just starting my January socks, and I need to knit on them around 2.5 hours a day. So we'll see if that happens.
8 days left.
Yeah, this is the first sock, and I have 8 days left. So I think if I just focus on this, I should be fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've done Desert Vista socks before in this time. So if I focus, I can get it done. And then that focus word, it's so key. The other thing I'm working on.
Speaking of focus.
So scattered. Jeez Louise, I didn't get anything out of here today. In my Knit Spin Farm Animals and Nordic Apparel bag, I have my hats, my Vanguard hat, which got a little bit of work on it this week, but it's going to need a little bit of ripping back because I put in 3 of the same markers.
Whoops.
They're different colors, but they're the same marker for the most part, and you're supposed to do something special at the middle marker, which is not short row there. You're supposed to short row on the other 2 and do something else there. Yeah, so that did not happen.
So this is a Lee Meredith hat.
It is.
And her patterns are always really cool, but you have to pay attention in most of them because you're doing things in a different way that you usually would. So
yeah, you do. And it's not been bad, but I was distracted because we were doing something on Saturday. What were we were watching something or
we were
doing
just
something.
Chilling, and then we
then we watched Fat Squirrel. So
and...
it was Amy Beth's fault that I got off.
Yeah, Amy Beth. She was screaming at the TV saying, "You've got a leak in your pipe."
I totally was. I was like, "That is a pinhole leak. It is not a roof leak."
Anyway,
Amy Beth, I would know that. I could help it anyway.
We're talking about Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel Speaks podcast.
I was also yelling at her to turn off her water.
She's very bossy, this Laura.
I am. I know 2 things about houses. And one of them is if there's water in your house, you should turn off your water. I'm such a jerk.
Who was that character in The Living Color that would do that? I forget.
Not Bon Qui. Who was Bon Qui?
Shanae?
No.
Shanae was Martin Lawrence.
I can't remember. Anyway, this is my cool hat. It's knit sideways.
It's really cool. It's pretty. I like it.
It's got this really interesting technique, and there's short rows. There's a lot of short rows in this hat. So if you don't like short rows, this is not the hat for you. I don't mind short rows.
I don't either.
Especially garter short rows.
Yeah, because you don't have to pick anything up.
Nothing much is happening here. So I'm interested to see. It's cool with the hand spun because it's doing different things. So I'm interested to see how it turns out in the end. But that is going on the back burner. Here's the rest of the hand spun. Well, this is what got wound before I had a knot, and then I was like, and then I cut it, and so there's more hand spun. There's another 300 yards of this at my house.
I bet you don't need it though. I bet you can finish without it.
So there's 4 parts, I think, to this hat, and I'm on part 2 of 4.
I still bet you can get it done without.
I don't know, we'll see. It's fingering weight, and I'm knitting it on a size 3. And I'm going to take the rest of my stuff out of my bag while I have it in my lap. Oof. Anyway, the only other thing I have to discuss is spinning, but you have finished objects.
I do. For once.
For once in my life.
I have got a finished pair of socks, and I really should have prepped by actually putting these on the blockers, because I had plenty of time while you were talking, and I just didn't do it. So this is my first time participating in the Desert Vista Dye Works 3rd Annual Sock Club, and basically that just means you knit a pair of Desert Vista socks every month.
Yeah.
You can earn discounts, free yarn.
Lots of things.
It can be dangerous because as you see other people post their finished products, you're like,
it's so
I need
dangerous.
that color.
Yes.
So I finished a pair of Puppies in the Dye Pots yarn socks. That's a thread from when I was sewing. These are just simple top-down socks with a slip stitch heel and a round heel flap, and that's it. That's pretty much it. I think it took me a little over a week to knit them off and on, so they're really good mindless knitting, and I probably will do most of the other socks in the same general simple pattern because it can be my mindless knitting, and that makes me happy. So I have to take a picture of these and put them in the thread, and I'm probably posting to Instagram too.
I just post to Instagram, and then you can import from Instagram.
Oh, that's true. I've never done that, but
super easy.
So yeah, first finished object in a while. It's already imbued with puppy hair, So that's
this puppy in the
wonderful.
dye pot, so it all
Yeah, it is
works
puppies in the
out.
dye pot. That's the colorway name. The ends are woven in. They do need a bath, but the ends have been woven in and everything. So
Cool.
finished socks.
Excellent.
Our show's going to be so short this week.
No, it's not. Do you have any spinning?
I do not. I didn't touch my wheel.
Oh, okay. I do have 3 bits and bobs of spinning. So first, I finished 2 things, and by finish I mean plied. Although I did spin some of the singles for the other, and they're still wet. I put these. It's been so damp here. I put these out I washed these yesterday and dried them like overnight, and I was like, oh, they'll be totally dry. They're not dry at all.
You hung them inside?
Yeah, I hung them in my small bathroom, which with the door closed.
Doesn't get a lot of circulation.
No, but it gets a lot of heat.
Oh, that's
because there's a
true.
heat vent right there. The door has to remain closed because otherwise Humberto's a jerk. I don't know where this one random strand came from. That's interesting.
Stop picking at it.
I'll figure it out. Anyway.
It's really pretty, though. It's got sort of a
Thank
shine
you.
to it.
So this is probably because it's still sopping wet. This is oh, I don't even know, hobbledehoy, and they were cupcake batlings, and I bought 2 packs, so it was around 4.2 ounces. It's a 2-ply. It was spun on the Shaktareeves with a kind of supported long draw style, and then plied on the mini spinner with the new Woolly Winder. Made sure to do short little segments, like counts of 5. And I didn't put in as much twist as I typically do, because I wanted this to be nice and drapey. It does have like a silk content to it. So it's 480 yards of a 2-ply. I actually have another little mini skein. It's like another 20 yards. So around 500 yards total.
So does this go in the stash, or is this for something? Or
This
someone?
is for me.
Okay.
So it is going in the stash. I'm thinking I might make a Kirsten Kapoor, that Dun Triangle Park. Dwayne.
Mm-hmm.
Park Triangle. Triangle Park. Park Triangle.
Park Triangle.
Words, orders.
Yeah, you can mix it with some like natural.
Yeah, or do something. Yeah, or get another crazy bits and do it with that.
I was thinking it would actually look nice as like with your coloring. It would look nice as like a yoke on a Colorworks sweater.
Oh, that would. I don't know. All these options. It's got lots of drape to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so maybe it wouldn't be the best for a sweater.
So I don't know. We'll see after it's dry. It's got tons of drape now because it's still wet. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I can tell it's got more silk content because it's holding the water longer.
Yeah.
Because this actually came out this morning because I forgot about it, but it's almost drier. This is Romney. It is from the Into the World Club. The colorway is 11 Seas in the Shire. Like how I tried to hide that end that I used to tie.
And it popped right back
That's
out.
all that you see is the end that pops back out.
It's so pretty though.
Thank you. It's blues and greens, a little bit of a hint of blue.
I
but
like the
brown.
different hues of green that are in there.
Yeah, and I fractal spun it, so it's mixing quite well.
Yeah.
You see a lot of barber pulling. This is 400 yards. Like 410 actually, but
You're rolling on it.
yeah, of a 2-ply. And I had a ton left over on one skein, and I tried to center pull 2-ply, and it just got all jacked up.
It did not end well.
So now I have a tangled mess. But
Is
it's
Pearl
fine.
not helping you out with that tangled mess?
No.
She would though.
She would eat it, and then I'd have an emergency vet visit. And then the last thing that I started last Wednesday, I actually have 2 things on the wheel. The first is just on the wheel. I haven't finished a bobbin yet. It is some silk, like a black silk blend from Hello Yarn in the Waterweed colorway. It's blues and greens, and it just went on the Ladybug. And that is a gift spin for someone else, and then this is for me. And this is a bat from Joanna Spring. Oop.
Joanna Spring is the proprietress of Knit Spin Farm.
Yeah.
She used to do a podcast, but now it's just shop updates. And
Yep.
she alternates bags and fiber.
So pretty. Look at all the glitter and the little Tweety bits. Love Tweety bits. So this is the first one, and this is being spun on the reeves. I think it's only a 3-ounce bat, so it's like...
Yeah, I was going to say, because the shocked reeves bobbins aren't, like, they don't hold a ton.
They hold 3.5 ounces.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not holding
I guess
a
that's
lot.
about the
And
same
this
as
is
all
long
shocked
drawed.
bobbins.
No, most shocked bobbins hold 4.
I could never get mine to, but...
Sorry.
That's a failure of mine. I'm not shocked, probably.
So, yeah. The first bobbin I spun during knit night the other night, and I started on the second. So hopefully that'll get done this week. That gives me 2 finished skeins, and my goal is a pound a month. So after I finish this, I'm going to work on the water weed, but also the Patreon for next month. We still have like 2 weeks before that.
Yeah, because next Monday, I think, will be the 30th or the 31st, but because of the way Patreon does their billing, we won't do the drawing until the next week.
Yeah. So, well, and it wouldn't be the end of the month yet.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be the 31st, I think, next Monday. Maybe it's the 30th.
Excuse me, I'm
sorry. No.
I stayed up too late reading smut. Now I'm tired.
We do have a question to answer. So, we've been delinquent on our question answering. Oh, just had a hiccup there for a second. We're falling apart. Myrtle's daughter asks, what I would like to know is how you organize your crafting books. I can't read. It's... Leslie made the show notes cut off. Fix it. My collection seems to grow overnight and is completely out of control. So how do you arrange for your crafting books? How are your crafting books arranged, I should say?
So almost all of my crafting books fit on one bookshelf. Almost all. So they're sorted first by, like, general category. I have some sewing books and some embroidery books, and those share one shelf because there's not enough of them to worry about like further categorizing them. But then I have a whole shelf of spinning books, and that is really only sort of haphazardly sorted. Like, I've got the more fleece and prep based ones in one section, and then the more like spinning technique based ones in another section. And then for knitting books, I've got a section for socks, which is further divided into general techniques and patterns. Like, some are just beautiful patterns. And then I've got a section for, aside from socks, I've got a section for really detailed how-to, like Ann Bud's book of sweaters, and
I have all my stitch dictionaries together too.
Yes, those are with the like how-tos.
And Elizabeth Zimmerman kind of goes in there, and so does like the
mine are
more
probably not
technique-based.
as classified as like subcategorized as far as yours are, just because you have more than I do. But yeah, it's basically for each section that I have a lot of them. I have one section that's like references, like how-tos and stitch dictionaries, and then one that's just mostly patterns.
And I have so I found that I have more accessory books than anything else.
That's
more accessory based books. So what I did, so all my sock books are together, all my baby pattern books are together, all my reference books are together, and then I decided like my top 20 books for the year, and I just pulled those out and put them on a shelf by themselves. So the ones that I know that I really want to utilize this year, which is like the library in me is like but I pulled those out and put them. I'm actually in the process of reorganizing my books, so I got some IKEA bookcases. So here's the deal. I have built-in bookcases in my house, and what my knitting books were on is a long it's a long shelf
with no supports in the middle.
With no supports in the middle, and so the weight of the books were bowing the shelves in the middle, and it was driving me a little bit bonkers. Plus, it's like this area that I kind of sit in to spin, so it was kind of... I'm going to move something else there. I'm going to put board games there instead, I think.
Something a little lighter.
Yeah. So I got 2 bookcases from IKEA. One just has, like, DVDs and my Cherry Ames and TheKnitGirlls and Nancy Drew's on it, and then the other has knitting books. But I really need a third and perhaps a fourth for knitting books.
Do you alphabetize or sort them in any, like, sock books, sock technique books?
Well, like all the ones by the same author are together, but they're not alphabetized. Because I don't like the alphabet.
The alphabet doesn't like you either.
It doesn't. I get enough of that crap at work. I don't need any additional nonsense at home. If they're in the general, like, if I know all the baby books are on the shelf. Oh, and my stuffy books are all together. Like, my mini mochis.
Rebecca Danger.
The Susan B. Andersons that just have to do with stuffies. And then I have some random stuffy books, too. But those are all together. And then I have some books that I'm going to get rid of. Because I bought, like, poncho books in the 1990s that I'm pretty sure can move on to a good home. So I'm going to offer those to my knit group first. And then I'll donate them to the library. The public library. Although some of them I could donate to my library. We'll see. Because my kids do a fiber arts unit now. So that might be a good thing to donate. But that would bring down my numbers, too. So, like...
Because you need books published more recently.
Yes. So the state of Mississippi requires that for nonfiction, our copyright be within 10 years on average. And so if I put, even if it's donated books that are older than 10 years in nonfiction, it pulls down that average. And then I have to buy new books to balance that out, which I understand the purpose. But some books, like poetry, don't go bad.
Yeah. Cooking, you know.
Yeah, not so much.
There are new techniques, but still, it doesn't mean the old
fairy
stuff
tales
doesn't.
and folklore,
Yeah.
religion. Sometimes there's, some new things, but like all the Greek mythology books kill me because they were all like translated in the 1950s. So I'm keeping them.
They're screwing with your bell curve.
They're just messing with the bell curve. The Odyssey is killing me. It's fine. We make it work. Anyway, so... It's all good. I hope that helped. That random jumble of junk helped you in some way.
We sort them by general topic.
Yeah.
And then further into technique versus pattern.
Yeah.
As a general rule.
I think that's a good rule.
Exceptions.
Yeah. And then my random, these are things that I want to knit out of. It happens. You are listening to something.
Oh, I re-listened to it. I'm done with it now, but I released... Last week I talked about re-listening to the book 14, which is a really good contemporary fiction with a sci-fi twist. And so once I'd listened to that, I needed to re-listen to the follow-up book, which is set sort of in the same Katoro-verse, but not necessarily a sequel. Some of the characters from the first book you see at the very end of the second one, but otherwise they don't interact. And the second book is called The Fold. Also sort of modern contemporary fiction with a science fiction twist to it. Very, very, very good books if you're interested in that sort of genre. Aside from that, for reading, I've been reading a bunch of smut that I'm not going to link to.
I'm about to start Heartless by Marissa Meyer. It just came off loan for me from the library. It is a YA reversion of Alice in Wonderland. So I'm excited about that. That's about it. The ALA award winners were announced today. Mm-hmm. So we've talked before about the Newberries. The Newbery winner, I think I talked about this on the show because I read it, was The Girl Who Drank the Moon. So that's very exciting. It's a great fantasy book. And The Inquisitor's Tale, which I talked about, was one of the honor books, as well as a picture book. That it's like a picture book with poetry in it about slavery. And I'm probably missing one. And then March, the graphic novel, won the Coretta Scott King Award. This is number 3. That's the John Lewis book. Their graphic novels are amazing. Graphic novels. If you're interested in the civil rights at all, really, really good graphic novels. And I think that's the first graphic novel that's won a Coretta Scott King Award, which is super cool. They all saw The Cat, which is a picture book that I got my nieces, won the Caldecott honor. Leave Me Alone, which is a knitting picture book, also won the honor, and it's from a lady who wrote It's on Ravelry. It's one of the Ravelry people, so Yeah, it's called Leave Me Alone. And I was super happy to see that. And there's some other really good ones there, too. The whole listing of that would be on the American Library Association website.
So if you know the person that wrote Leave Me Alone, or if on the off chance you are the person that wrote Leave Me Alone, you should get in contact with me. We'll get Laura a signed copy. And it'll totally make her day.
That would make my day. That's an awesome book. I'm always excited when, like, I went upstairs and was talking to one of my teacher friends about it, who's, like, reads a lot of the Newbery type stuff, and I was like, one of the knitting ones won an honor, and he was like, you're a dork, and he closed his door. I was like, I could know that person. I don't, but I totally could. She's on Ravelry. So he was just laughing at me and my craziness. But yeah, I can't remember who won the Caldecott. Anyway.
So you put the short game on favorite things.
Yes, so I did. The short game is a documentary about under 9-year-old golfers from around the world. And it is interesting. Like, there is this kid from South Africa that I want, like, his parents are just so proud of him. And they don't care if he's happy. They're happy with whatever the result. So he went from, like, 40th place to higher up. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
But still not, like, top 10.
No. But just the fact that he moved a little bit, they were so happy, and it made me so happy. He's a great kid, and there was a kid from France, and there were a bunch of Americans, and it's interesting to see the dynamics between the parents and the kids. And the pressure of, it's like this internationally best young golfers in the world come to this tournament, and they follow them, and there's a kid from China and a kid from, I think, Korea. It's just really, really interesting how they have rearranged their lives around golf and doing what their kids, and all the kids obviously love the game. It's not like they're being pushed into it, some more than others. I feel like the expectation was there from when they, like, the one little girl, her father's like, she was born on Tiger Woods' birthday, and they have the same ethnicity, and, like, he's very
he wants it more than she does, probably.
I think so, but she wants it too. It's not that she hates the game and is being forced to it. So it's an interesting, I like those subculture documentaries of, like, groups of people that you're like, oh, that's a thing. And
probably even the kids that placed last in that could beat all of us.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, like, without even looking.
They were shooting, like, 32s and not in 9 holes, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It was an interesting documentary, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
Cool.
And you have paper piecing on there.
I've been doing some more paper piecing using my sewing machine, not hand paper piecing, and using a template. And apparently there's a, like, terminology overlap when it comes to that, because there are some patterns where, like, okay, so for example, this one is a flying geese, right? Flying geese.
Kind of, yeah.
So for foundation paper piecing, as I understand it, you'll get this PDF, this digital copy of this pattern. You'll print it out. You'll scale it if necessary, make it bigger or smaller. And then, based on the instructions and the outlines, you'll sew the pieces directly onto the paper. That's what causes the little perforations.
And then it just tears off?
And then, then it just tears off because you've already got everything perforated, so it tears away. And you can actually buy special paper that dissolves or tears away even easier. This is just regular printer paper. But there's also patterns where, you know, let's say it's a super fancy, like, braid or something, and you'll get the digital copy, and it'll have one of each shape. Like, for this one, it might have one regular size triangle and one smaller one for the corners, and you would just sew that shape over and over and hand sew them together, but it wouldn't all be there waiting for you, like paint by numbers, sort of dummy proof one. So I'm looking for more patterns that are dummy proof, like this, where literally I sew directly onto the paper. I don't have to do any sort of digital manipulation. So if you know of any, let me know. But anyway, this is one that I did this week, which is just a sort of flying geese block. And
what are you going to do with all these little blocks?
I think I'm going to sew them into like mini quilts or something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Get enough done and you can do a big quilt.
Yeah. They won't match at all.
It'll be fun though.
And then yesterday I decided, once Laura and I decided we weren't going to record yesterday, I came up and started this block, and it took me 4 hours. This is in 4 separate pieces. Each like quarter is its own section. And once I finished, I found 2 errors, and I'm totally not fixing either one of them. But this one is dummy proof like the other one, and I had to print out 4 copies of the template because I needed 4. Like each one is like this. So that's one template. Like that. Well, sorry, my fingers are fat. So that's one. So I had to print out 4 of them. And then I just went through a charm pack that was just solids and picked out some colors.
That's cute.
And created it. It's just a circle of geese. So I probably picked out more sewing than there is sewing in this because I kept screwing it up.
But now you know how to do it, so if you wanted to do
you have to like visualize it backwards and upside down when you're sewing onto it. And I don't have good spatial reasoning. I'm trying, but I fail a lot. So
I spent like 20 minutes at the copier last week because my one of the guys I work for had a map of the school and he wanted it smaller, which I scaled it down, but then he wanted centered so he could walk and do it on the outside, so then I had to fold it down and try to get it. It was like 20 minutes of trying to. I'm like, but if I move it no, that's the wrong way.
It's like, how long have we been recording, and still when I hold it up, it goes the wrong way. You know, we've been doing this 7 years. Like, you think I would have learned it by now, but
those engineer type people.
Spatial reasoning fail.
Yeah, I'm always envious of those. And your son is awesome at spatial
reasoning.
He
really is, and I'm like, you don't even use a knife and fork correctly, but you could do circles around me with this. It makes me crazy.
Aww,
but anyway, if you know of more resources for those, and I'm not averse to paying for them, I want them to be the dummy proof you sew on paper kind. And that's it. That's all I got.
Awesome. I think that's it for today. We'll do Patreon drawing in 2 weeks.
And genuine and heartfelt thank you to our Patreon donors.
Definitely. And thank you everyone who came to the live podcast this last week. That was lots of fun.
We really need to get that on a monthly schedule. I'm always nervous that nobody's going to come and nobody's going to want to talk to us. But they've been really good so far.
Yeah.
So we really just have to pin down a good day and time that works
for people. If you are going to Portland, I am putting up the class options this week, and I'm also getting details on a swap going on. I think we have enough interest for a swap, so I am getting all that up this week, so you might want to check out the Knit Girls retreat board.
Do you need me to do forms for classes?
No, I'm going to do a Google form.
Okay, whatever works.
And I think I'm going to do that for SSK this year.
Oh, okay. That's all you. I'm not getting involved.
No, I think that is a good way to do it because all the responses are right there and you can
whatever makes
look
you
at
happy.
them.
But speaking of SSK, I wanted to ask, it's been something that Cindy has mentioned for a couple years now. Cindy Tales of Yarn, who's been an attendee at SSK. And so there's a shop in Nashville called Craft South, and it is sort of the local shop for needlework guru Anna Marie Horner, who I believe has fabric lines. She also has classes for hand quilting, embroidery, sashiko, and something else. I forget. But I wanted to find out if there are going to be enough people who are there the day before SSK starts. This would be totally separate, but if there's enough interest...
So this would be the Tuesday before...
This would be Tuesday the 18th, and it would be an afternoon class, so like 2 to 6 or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
And this would be at Craft South.
It would be at Craft South.
So you would have to have transportation to get there.
You could Uber it or something,
Yeah.
but yeah, you would have to have transportation. There's 16 spots, or that's as many as they'll put in a single class. And if there's not enough interest, that's totally fine, but it's been mentioned a couple years running, so I thought if there's enough people, I don't mind organizing it. But and I'd like to participate in it, but again, if I don't, it's fine because I'll have plenty of other stuff to do. But if there's enough interest, that's great. You know, if you're going to be there early enough. And I figured we're still 6 months out, so
yeah,
people probably haven't booked tickets yet. You would have to pay, you know, the extra night of your own lodging and all that. And the class, I think, would be $120 something. I wouldn't handle any of the money. It would go straight through Craft South. So that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
So you guys have a lovely week, and we will see you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.